welcome everyone to our YouTube channel of NuWave Leadership. And we're here again today, Vishnupriya, Aristo, and Sabrina Lindner. We are the co-founders of NuWave Leadership. And we have another interesting question today that we discussed with the collective of one. And I'm going to hand right over to Vishnupriya to tell us what that question was. Over to you.
Yes. Wow. So from this session onwards, we are starting off with the session 2 of channeling, which means until question 16, I guess, was the last question, was session 1, which we did as a 30-minute channeling. So from starting from this video, what you are actually watching is session 2 of channeling that we did. So obviously each session is going to sound very different because, there's at least 24 hours or more between these sessions that we have done, which means that, the answers that we have gotten earlier has gone through our system, and even the way how we are asking the questions, starts changing, as you might, see through as we move along. So session 2, the first question that we asked the collective of one was, I was saying, thank you for the suggestions. We have a bunch of different questions today, new sheet of new questions that I had written. And I started off with what Sabrina had in her mind about certain practices. So this question comes from Sabrina. Starting off with what Sabrina had about simple practices, what could be simple practices to open up to the flow as we discussed yesterday? Because the first session revealed to us that at the end of the day, we just have to, open up to that free flow of energy. So obviously the first question was, please give us, some practices that we can do to open up that flow. And also, how can we let that higher frequency energy flow through us? What could be the practices around that? So that was my question. Over to you, Sabrina. Tell us what the COO gave us.
Yes, and prepare yourself for a really long and deep answer here. So the COO said, well, the thing is that when energy cannot flow freely, there's something that is slowing the energy down, as we touched already yesterday. And for you in your energetic being, it becomes very hard to feel that you are energy. It becomes very difficult for you to even connect to the idea because there's a lot of sort of, if you speak in your language, it's almost like a noise that is going on because the energy is not flowing freely. Right, you can even think of it like when you have water, a river, and then there are a lot of stones in the way. And the water has to find its way through with a lot of power and force because it is slowing down, and then it has to splash over the stones. It's going this way and that way. It can be really loud just before the blockages are released, if you want to use the word blockage. So what that means really is that it gets hard to understand what you are going through. One of the practices that we love about all the different modalities that use meditation is that you speak about slowing down. But the truth is that you're not really slowing down. What you do is, energetically speaking, when you slow down the noise, which you would probably describe as your emotions and your thoughts, is that what you really do is speeding up the energetic process again. That is why it gets so hard to grasp for you as this human form, that in order to speed up the process, you would want to slow down the contamination, so to speak, which you think of as certain blockages. So if you can think of certain practices that make you really slow down the noise, tune the noise down, the volume, so that you can hear the energy flow, that's when you can feel truly connected. And we know that you have played around with certain practices. So which one is the most powerful for you? Which one is where you feel, yes, I can really feel how I am energy? And it's not like you have to reinvent the practice. You can take what is there, you can play around with it, you can modify it. You can even invent a new yoga practice. You can create a whole new so-called healing modality, although the word healing is again misleading in our opinion, looking at humanity and how it functions at the moment. So just pick a few things, put those things together and practice them for a few days, and see where you feel the most connected to the light. And those are the things you want to take to your students once you feel confident enough. Another thing is that you can obviously optimize the way you are connected to a group like us, where you can even ask for certain downloads, certain images to be imprinted into your students so that they can more easily grasp the idea that you are all just energy. We probably think that this would be a bit of an advanced practice, but it is definitely possible to do so. Whew, okay, I'll hand it over to Vishnupriya to give us her take on what all this is about.
Wow, obviously we did not expect that big of an answer now because the session one was all short answers. But it's nice that the COO is now kind of going into so-called the advanced lessons, let's call it, giving us some detailed explanations on things. The first thing that I notice about this particular answer is that they talk about this interesting image, the flow of water in a river, in which there's a lot of stones and pebbles, which kind of slows down the flow itself, right? So that's what, at least that image helps us understand what's happening in our body, in our energy system, so to speak. The flow of energy really loves to flow like water flowing in a river, but what's happening, it's kind of slowing down as it flows through us. And then what is creating these so-called blockages? One other point here is, COO is not actually using the word blockage, but they are just referring, if you want to use that word, maybe you can use it. But there's nothing negative about it, which is kind of something that we might have to keep reiterating to ourselves, because we are coming from that 3D mindset that something is wrong, something is negative, something needs to be fixed, which is why I guess in all of COO's answer, they kind of specify, there's nothing wrong about it. It's just slow moving energy and there is beauty in it. So I tend to remind myself that, oh, yeah, there are these blockages. Maybe there is a pain in my hand or something like that. Yes, it's kind of a stone sitting there, but there's nothing wrong about it. It's just slow moving energy. There's a beauty in it. The more we reiterate that to ourselves, we start looking at it from a different perspective. Coming back to the point, now that we know that the flow of energy would really love to flow through us, it's just that there's little bit of blockages here and there. Then the next step for us, again, the COO hasn't given us a list of practices here: do this, do meditation, do this, do that, do this. Rather, it's each of us tend to have different things that would make us feel real free flowing energy, right? For me, for example, after this answer, I started doing a little bit of, let's say, discovery process within me to see and feel what really makes me be in that free flow of energy. The first thing that really came up was my sessions that I was receiving through Kritika. I guess a lot of you watching this video would be familiar with Kritika now, since she is a part of our experiment as well. She was a professional healer who had been working for me for a quite long time. So it was a normal practice for me to receive her sessions. But there was a little difference. Now that my mindset has shifted, my perspectives have shifted through listening to COO's answer, I started sensing that energy flow in a very different way than before, even though she was doing those sessions for me. And I also kind of started teaching this to Kritika as well. And we started shifting and changing, just like in the answer, how they say you can invent a whole new healing modality. Something similar to that, I was already starting to experiment, and she started shifting some of the processes which started putting in that perspective that it's just slow moving energy, and what we are doing during the, which now we call as the energy booster sessions. So during receiving these energy booster sessions was one of those things that I really felt like, there's this beautiful flow of energy flowing through me. That's one example. And another one that I really love is Sabrina's sitting in the sunlight, which is amazing. To give you a few more ideas, just walking in the nature could be another such beautiful um, practice. I don't really want to call it a practice, maybe just simple activities that we can do that would really help us feel more of that free flow of energy. So this morning I was having a conversation with my mom, who was sharing with me a little practice or an activity that she was doing, which was just simply sitting in a chair and looking at the sun early morning, 6 a.m. ish, where you can actually look at the sun. And then she will automatically go into closing her eyes, where she was just opening up to the nature to start flowing, energy through her. And as I was listening to it, I was like, wow, that's an amazing activity. Maybe I should try it out. And she does it in the evening as well with the moon or with the stars. She's just sitting, in that open space and just looking at the moon, opening her up and letting that energy flow. So I'm just giving all these different examples because there's no one size fits all, right? So for you at the moment in time, whichever interests you, maybe it's a walk in the nature, maybe it's just sleeping, taking a quick power nap in the afternoon, for example, right? So sleeping is a topic that's coming up very soon as well, that COO told us is a beautiful way to flow that energy. So so many different types of practices that we can discover, and I invite you from this answer to discover within you which are those things or activities or simple things that you can do that actually makes you feel being in that flow of energy. Over to you, Sabrina.
Yes, I also absolutely love the response that the collective of one gave here, because the image that they are painting with the water flow, I think, makes it very easy for us to imagine that we are this flow of energy, and we can already connect to the idea. The one thing that was very profound for me here was also how they are talking about, when the water splashes over the stones, there's a lot of noise that is created when it's forced to slow down. And that then when the noise in our system gets so loud, we can't even connect to the truth that it's just a flow of energy. And I was like, yeah, that's really what is happening to so many of us, that we can't even reconnect to our deepest truth, let me put it that way, that it's just a flow of energy. And we get all confused. Oh, what should I do with my life? What would be the best? And there's a lot of pressure coming from that, and a lot of judgments, of course, and a lot of non-acceptances. So just having this picture and saying, okay, what can I do to tune down the volume of the noise so that I can reconnect? And yes, Vishnupriya spoke about me sitting in the sunshine. That's something I absolutely love. There's also just doing, my own flow of yoga practices that I basically do every day, but I don't have to do it every day. And here's a big difference again, right? Like, just taking it free flow. Do I feel like doing my yoga practice? Now is the right moment. I feel inspired to do it. I feel excited to do it. That's when I do it, not because I feel I have to do it. Another thing that I absolutely love is jumping into the chaos of Nairobi City, because it's a very loud, chaotic city where people walk left, right, center. There's always traffic going on. There's not one space in the city where there are not people somehow, or noises of people. So when I step into that chaos, it really makes me feel like, whoa, energy is flowing. So if you're not someone who connects to nature, well, maybe it's a walk in the city, right? Like, it can be anything. Don't judge yourself for what excites you. Just go with that flow and experiment. That is also what I have been doing, what Vishnupriya has been doing. And there's so much that we can learn about how it feels to truly connect to energy. So have fun trying it out. And Vishnupriya, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yes, Sabrina, obviously I didn't expect that answer. Stepping into the chaos of, of the city. I hope everybody is blown away with that answer. Just to give few more ideas, because I know we go into the conventional thinking that meditation, yoga, walking, exercises, these are the ways to flow energy faster, which are not the only options for you. For example, in my case, these days I've been hooked to creating reel videos and publishing it, editing it, and then rewatching it over and over again just excites me a lot. So, and another thing is doing some kind of fun activities with my baby, just moving his hands and legs and playing a music, all of that. He's just 3 months old now. So each of us, depending on what our life, kind of shows in front of us, there would be so many different things that you can do. So do not go into that little perspective, 3D perspective of only, yoga, meditation, and only if I do that, it's right, that I'm a good, perfect human being if I meditate every day.
Yes.
Was all interesting perspectives that I had as I was, coming in through those tunnels of development, evolution. But now it's like, do anything that excites you, eat your food, have a tea or a coffee, anything that excites you, that kind of be in touch, be aware of your energy flow. As you, maybe you are a person who loves to drink coffee, and as you drink coffee, just get in touch with the flow. How does it feel like? Does it feel like this fast flowing energy through me? So that's your confirmation that you're on the right track. All right, I hope you're going to have so many fun activities after this video and the answer from COO. We will catch you in the next video. So please do like, share, and subscribe. And if any of our content interests you, please reach out to us. We have this fun experiment, 5D living experiment going, and we would love to have you join us. See you in the next video.
See you soon.